What's up everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today's video is inspired by Brad Pitt's haircut from Fury. It's going to be an undercut Middle Eastern edition. These are my tools I'll be using. Got my clippers, my straight razor, my trimmers, so let's get into it. First you want to go ahead and saturate the hair, because when the hair is wet it is a lot more pliable and easier to maneuver. So go ahead and get that nice and wet, and then we're going to go ahead and grab our comb out. And we're going to go take our first section from the corner of his forehead and pulling that back and sectioning that off. This will be an undercut, so the top will be long and the sides will be nice and short. Same thing on the other side. After that we're going to go ahead and take our number 2 guard, and this will be our longest guard, and we're going to remove all that bulk. So the longest part of the haircut will be a number 2, and then we're going to do a skin fade into that. Getting it nice and short, because in the video, or if you have seen the video, Brad Pitt has his hair pretty short on the sides, so we're going to try to replicate as much as we can. Doing the number 2 on the other side as well, leaving a little bit of length in the back so that the hair on top could have something to sit on. Don't mind my client singing bye 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 in the back. He's got a couple beers in, so you know it does things like that to you.
Music licensing reimagined.
Now we're gonna go ahead and grab our gamma trimmers, and we're gonna go ahead and set that first ball guideline, and we're taking it right at the end of the C cup and dropping it in the back. We're gonna follow that all the way through to the other side, keeping everything nice and symmetrical and even and as clean as possible as well. After that, you're gonna go ahead and take your clippers, and we're gonna open up the blade and set our first guideline or second guideline, doing about an inch width, and we're going to follow that all the way through.
Artlist.io.
After that, go ahead and grab your 1 guard, open, and we're going to go ahead and go all the way up to that where we left off with that 2 guard. And we're going to follow that all the way through to the other side.
Music licensing reimagined.
You know, the after hour cuts, you know the vibes, baby. Tall cans only. We're still working with that number 1 guard, you know, working with it from open to close. This isn't gonna fade out that line, this is just softening up, so it's just gonna make it a lot lighter so that we can come back with our half guard. So now we do have our half guard on. This is completely open, and then we're gonna do the same thing, closing it until we remove that line, so that all we have left is that blade completely open that we started from the beginning. So we're doing the same thing, following it all the way through, lining up that line so that we only have 1 line left, which is that bald guideline. So whenever I'm removing that last line, I like to have a brush because it makes it a lot easier to see what hair is actually still on the scalp. Also, always make sure to look back and check the mirror, because the mirror does not lie, and it helps you to see the imperfections in the haircut. So now we're just working with the blade completely open till close until we remove that final bald guideline. And we're gonna obviously do that throughout the whole head. Hey, comment down below what you guys would rate that ghost inhale that he just did right now. Alright, comment down below. A tip on when you're removing this bottom line, like I just showed right there, use the corners of the blade. Don't use the whole blade because we are fading. This is the fade process now, we're not putting any guidelines in, so always use the corner. Now we're just going to move on to edging him up, cleaning up those edge ups and getting it nice and sharp. And then we're going to follow up with some scissor over comb. This is one of my favorite techniques to do. It really softens up the fade and makes, you know, the transition a lot smoother. And this is just some point cutting, just to thin out some dark areas if there are any. And we're going to do the same thing on the other side. Make sure that you get comfortable with scissor over comb because it's very crucial and it can help out your fades tremendously. Now we're moving on to the back, and we're connecting the long hair into what we faded.
Music licensing reimagined.
Just keep the comb squared off to the head and just remove whatever excess there is. Now that that's all completed, we're going to go ahead and remove all the bulk. Make sure to dust off your client, make sure he's feeling comfortable and clean. Okay, I got George with the O's. Alright, after that we're going to go ahead and just follow up with our shaver, getting it nice and close, getting it to skin. If you do end up creating a new line, just go back with your trimmers to remove that line. Or you could tap with the shaver and move side to side to remove that line as well. Now we're just razoring the forehead, getting it nice and sharp. Now we're moving on to washing his hair. Always before I go to scissor the cut, I like to make sure that the hair is nice and clean. So I'm going to go ahead and shampoo the hair. Alright, after we have the hair nice and clean, we're going to go ahead and start the scissor work. We're going to take two sections. The middle section is going to be about 2 fingers width. After that, go ahead and grab your scissors. I'm grabbing my Red Almighty shears from Barber Nova. The link will be down below. And we're going to start off from the back, and we're keeping everything squared. And we're just going to cut that up, and then we're going to take another section, pulling that out, connecting that. And then from there we're going to connect that all the way to the very top, following that same guideline. And we're going to just follow that all the way through to the front of the head. And what this is determine the length of the hair. And we're keeping it longer in the front and obviously shorter in the back to give that Fury look. After that, we're going to take horizontal sections connecting the side into that front guideline that we made. And then we're going to do the same to the other side. Now we're just going to cross check everything, make sure everything's nice and even, or see what has imperfections. So as you can see, some parts were a little bit longer, and now we're just double checking everything, make sure it's nice and even. Always pay attention to the angle that you're cutting the hair, and also always have good tension when you're grabbing the hair. You want to keep it as consistent as possible so that you have an even flow throughout the whole head. We're going to go ahead and grab some oil serum. This is just a heat protective, so when I go blow dry his hair, it will not get damaged. Now blow dry the hair in the direction that we're going to be styling it. So obviously this hairstyle is going to be backwards, and we're just blow drying it backwards, lifting up the front hair to create some volume. And we're going to do that until it's thoroughly blow dried and completely dry. Now that we got the hair completely dried, we're going to go ahead and throw some product in there, and we're giving that little wet look that he has in the video. And we're going to have some hair hanging over to the side how he has it. And that's pretty much the cut, guys. That's the Fury look. We're going to go and throw some talc powder just to clean off my client, and just add that little transition from the bald into the longer hair. But that's it, YouTube. That's the Fury cut, Middle Eastern edition. So I hope you guys enjoyed that. So this is how he looked before. Had a whole mop on his head. This was post quarantine, so his hair was growing out a couple months, but boom, look at that. That's the after. Hope you guys enjoy that. Hope you guys learned something. Make sure to comment, like, share this with your friends, and make sure to subscribe because I got a lot more content coming, right? I'll catch you guys on the next one.